Hey everyone, Elizabeth here. The Last Laugh delivers stories that leave you speechless. If you're here for it, hit subscribe and let's go. The dining room fell silent except for the aggressive scraping of Claire's knife against her plate. My older sister had that look, the one she'd perfected over 32 years of being Dad's favorite. Sharp eyebrows raised, lips pursed in what she probably thought was sophisticated judgment. I'm just saying, Emma, most people grow out of their little hobbies by 30, she said, stabbing a piece of steak. Some of us have actual careers that matter. I took a sip of water. Didn't respond. That was the thing about family dinners at Dad's house, silence was safer than defending yourself. Mom had passed away 4 years ago. These Sunday dinners at Dad's place had become Claire's stage, her opportunity to remind everyone that she was the successful daughter. The corporate lawyer. The one with the corner office downtown, the luxury condo, the Mercedes in the parking garage. And me? I was the disappointment. The quirky younger sister who still rented a modest apartment and spent her days playing on her computer. Dad set down his fork with that heavy sigh I knew too well. Claire has a point, Emma. When are you getting serious about your future? I am serious, Dad. Writing stories on the internet isn't serious. He shook his head. You're 30 years old. No husband, no real career, living in that tiny apartment. Claire smirked, reaching for her wine. I heard from Aunt Linda that you've been doing this for what, 5 years now? And you're still working that coffee shop job? Bookstore, I corrected quietly. I work at a bookstore. Same difference. She waved her hand dismissively. Minimum wage is minimum wage, Em. Meanwhile, I just made junior partner. Youngest in the firm's history. Congratulations, I said, meaning it. I'd always been proud of Claire's success, even when she used it as a weapon. Thank you. She smiled at Dad, who beamed with pride. Someone in this family had to make something of themselves. The barb landed, as intended. But I'd learned to let them roll off. What they didn't know, what nobody at this table knew, was that I hadn't worked at the bookstore in 8 months. I kept telling them I did because it was easier than explaining the truth. The truth was complicated. The truth was that I'd been writing under a pen name, A.M. Rivers, for the past 6 years. What started as a hobby had become something bigger. Much bigger. My first novel, The Clockwork Heir, had self-published quietly 3 years ago. Sold a few hundred copies. Then a few thousand. Then it hit some algorithm sweet spot and exploded. By year 2, I had a dedicated fanbase. Book 2 did even better. Book 3 launched 6 months ago and debuted at number 3 on the New York Times bestseller list. But I never told my family. Not after years of them dismissing my writing as a phase or a cute hobby. Not after Claire had literally laughed when I mentioned wanting to be an author at 24. Not after Dad had said, "That's nice, sweetie, but what's your real plan?" So I just didn't tell them. Let them think I was struggling. Let them think I was the family failure. It was easier that way. Earth to Emma. Claire snapped her fingers in front of my face. See, Dad? She's always got her head in the clouds. Probably daydreaming about her little stories. I pulled out my phone and glanced at the screen. My agent, Patricia Chen. She never called during dinner hours unless it was urgent. And 3 calls in 2 minutes meant something big. I need to take this, I said, standing up. Oh, come on. Claire rolled her eyes. We're having a family dinner. Whatever it is can wait. But I was already walking toward the kitchen, pressing the phone to my ear. Patricia? Is everything okay? Emma? Thank God. Where have you been? Patricia's voice was breathless, excited in a way I'd never heard before. Are you sitting down? I'm at my dad's house. Family dinner. What's going on? The bidding war closed an hour ago. My heart started pounding. We'd known there was interest in the movie rights for the Clockwork Heir trilogy. 3 studios had been circling for weeks. But Patricia had told me not to get my hopes up, that these things fell through all the time. And, Emma, they went insane. Absolutely insane. I've been doing this for 20 years, and I've never seen anything like it. Patricia, what happened? 3 studios bidding. Emma, they paid $5.20 million for movie rights. Universal won. They want you as a consulting producer. They're talking franchise. Trilogy plus spin-offs. The kitchen tilted. I grabbed the counter for support. Say that again? $5.2 million, Emma. For the film rights. Plus back-end points if the movie hits certain benchmarks. Plus your consulting producer fee. Plus, Emma, are you breathing? I wasn't. I'd forgotten how. This is real. I whispered. This is real. The contracts are being drawn up now. Emma, you're about to become very, very famous. A.M. Rivers is about to become a household name. We need to talk about, Patricia, you're on speaker now. My voice came out loud enough that I knew they'd hear it in the dining room. I didn't care anymore. I walked back to the table, phone held out in front of me. Claire and Dad looked up, annoyed at the interruption. Emma, what are you? Dad started. Patricia, can you repeat what you just told me? I asked, my voice steady. My family wants to hear about my little writing hobby. There was a pause. Patricia Chen was many things, but slow wasn't one of them. She understood immediately. Of course. Her voice shifted into her professional, authoritative agent tone. Emma, Universal Studios has just purchased the film rights to the Clockwork Air trilogy for $5.2 million. They beat out Warner Brothers and Netflix in a bidding war that closed 1 hour ago. Additionally, they want you as a consulting producer on the films, which comes with a separate fee of $200,000 per film. They're planning a trilogy with potential spin-offs. Claire's wine glass froze halfway to her lips. Dad's face had gone completely white. Furthermore, Patricia continued, clearly enjoying herself now, your publisher called me this afternoon. The Shadow Crown, Book 3, has sold 840,000 copies in 6 months. You've earned $2.8 million in royalties this year alone. Your foreign rights deals have expanded to 23 countries. And we have 3 separate streaming services asking about series rights for your other novels. I read it on vacation last month. I told my book club about it. She stopped, realization dawning, you've been listening to me mock your writing for years while you were a best-selling author? Listening, yes. Correcting you, no. It didn't seem worth the argument. Dad had his head in his hands. Emma, why didn't you tell us? I tried, Dad. For years, I tried. Every time I mentioned my writing, you dismissed it. Every time I said I was working on something, you asked when I'd get a real job. After a while, it was just easier not to share. But $5 million. $5.2 million, plus everything else. My net worth is around $3.7 million right now. I own my apartment, bought it last year, cash. No mortgage. I took a sip of water. I'm doing fine, Dad. I've been doing fine for a while. The color had drained completely from Claire's face. All those times I offered you money. When I didn't need it, yes. And I told you to work in our mailroom. That was particularly memorable. Oh my God. She stood up abruptly, knocking her chair back. Emma, I didn't know. If I had known, you would have treated me differently, I finished. I know. That's exactly why I didn't tell you. Dad was staring at me like he'd never seen me before. You let us think you were struggling. You assumed I was struggling. I just didn't correct you. I pushed my plate away. You know what the saddest part is? I wanted to tell you. When my first book hit the Times list, I wanted to call you immediately. When I signed the contract for books 4 and 5, I wanted to celebrate with you. But I knew that you'd find some way to diminish it. That's not fair, Dad started. Dad, you told me tonight that I needed to grow up and get a real job. While I'm sitting on a multi-million-dollar career that I built myself, from nothing, through years of work you never respected. The silence stretched out. Finally, Claire sank back into her chair. I'm sorry, she whispered. Emma, I'm so sorry. I've been such a bitch to you. Yes, I agreed simply. You have been. Can we? Dad cleared his throat. Can we start over? Now that you know I'm successful, I interrupted. That's the problem, Dad. You didn't respect me when you thought I was struggling. You don't get to suddenly be proud now that there's money involved. That's not what I meant. Isn't it? I stood up, grabbing my purse. I need to go. Patricia and I have calls to make tonight. Apparently, I'm about to become very busy. Emma, please. Claire's voice cracked. Don't leave like this. Like what? I'm not angry. I'm not even hurt anymore. I'm just done. Done pretending to be less than I am so you feel better. Done shrinking myself to fit your expectations. I walked toward the door. Behind me, I heard chairs scraping, footsteps following. Emma. Dad caught up to me in the hallway. Please. Let's talk about this. We just did, Dad. I'm sorry. His eyes were wet. I'm so sorry I didn't support you. I didn't understand, you didn't try to understand. That's the difference. I touched his arm gently. I love you, Dad. But I can't keep coming to these dinners where I'm treated like the family failure. It's not good for me. What are you saying? I'm saying I need some space. Some time to figure out what our relationship looks like when it's not built on you thinking I'm a disappointment. Claire appeared behind Dad, mascara smeared. Emma, please. Let me make this right. I don't need you to make it right, Claire. I just need you to understand that your success doesn't diminish mine, and my success doesn't diminish yours. We're both doing well. We're both adults with careers that matter. I know that now. You should have known it before. I opened the front door. I'll call you both next week. Maybe we can have coffee. Talk like adults instead of whatever this dynamic has been. Weeks later, I sat in a coffee shop in Manhattan, the expensive kind where Claire would feel comfortable, waiting for her. She'd called 17 times in the first week after the dinner. Sent 42 texts. Dad had been quieter but persistent, sending daily emails that ranged from apologies to requests to talk. I'd taken my time responding. Let them sit with their assumptions. Let them understand what it felt like to be dismissed. Claire walked in looking smaller somehow. Less confident. Her lawyer armor was missing. "Thank you for meeting me," she said, sliding into the seat across from me. "Of course. I've been thinking a lot about what you said. About how I treated you." She wrapped her hands around her coffee cup. "You were right. I was a bitch. For years. Yes. I think." She paused, choosing her words carefully. "I think I was jealous. Which sounds insane, because I'm the successful one. I'm the one with the career and the apartment and everything we were supposed to want. You are successful, Claire. But you were doing what you loved. And I think, on some level, I resented that. I resented that you were brave enough to try." She met my eyes. "I'm not asking for forgiveness. I don't deserve it. But I want you to know I see it now. I see what I did." I stirred my coffee slowly. "The thing is, Claire, I don't need you to understand my success. I needed you to respect my journey even when it looked different from yours." "I know. Do you? Because it's not about the money or the movie deal. It's about the fact that you couldn't respect me until there was external validation." She flinched but nodded. "You're right." We sat in silence for a moment. Outside, Manhattan moved at its usual frantic pace. "I'm writing an article," Claire said finally. "For a legal journal. About respecting non-traditional career paths. About how we define success too narrowly." "That's good. Dad's been struggling too. He keeps saying he failed Mom. That she believed in you and he didn't." My chest tightened. "He didn't fail Mom. He just forgot what she taught us. He wants to read your books. All of them. He can buy them like everyone else," I said, but I smiled slightly. "Tell him I'll sign his copies if he asks nicely." Claire laughed, a real laugh. "You know the firm's been asking about you? They want to represent you for the film contracts." "I have representation, but thank you." "I know. She twisted her napkin. "I just wanted you to know that I'm proud of you. Finally. For real. Not because of the money. Because you did something amazing and I was too stupid to see it." I reached across the table and squeezed her hand. "We're going to be okay, Claire. But things are going to be different." "Different how?" "I'm not coming to Sunday dinners for a while. Maybe a long while. I need space to figure out who we are to each other when I'm not playing the role of family disappointment." She nodded, tears spilling over. "I understand. And if we rebuild this relationship, it's going to be built on mutual respect. Not on you thinking you're better than me, and not on me proving my worth. Just two sisters who both worked hard and both succeeded." "I'd like that." I finished my coffee and stood. "Patricia's waiting. We have a meeting with the film producers in an hour." "Emma?" Claire looked up at me. "Your pen name. A.M. Rivers. What does the A stand for?" I smiled. "Amelia. It was Mom's middle name." Her face crumpled. "She would have been so proud of you." "I know," I said softly. "She was the only one who always believed I could do it." I left Claire sitting there, walked out into the Manhattan afternoon, and headed toward my meeting. My phone buzzed with a text from Patricia. "Producer wants to discuss casting." This is really happening. I typed back, "On my way. Let's make something amazing." Because that was the thing about success, real success. It wasn't about proving something to the people who doubted you. It wasn't about the moment their faces went pale when they realized they'd underestimated you. It was about building something you believed in, even when nobody else did. It was about the quiet satisfaction of knowing you stayed true to your vision when everyone else told you to be practical. The movie deal was incredible. The money was life-changing. But the best part? I'd done it my way, on my terms, without compromising my voice or my vision. And that was worth more than any dollar amount. Have you ever had to hide your success from family members who didn't believe in you? Or finally stood up to people who constantly dismissed your dreams? Share your story in the comments below. I'd love to hear how you handled it.